We'll make a start. And if anyone does come in, just ignore them. And hopefully it will warm up a bit. Nikki's in the hot spot. Best bit. So let's just sit with eyes closed. And just taking a couple of deep breaths in through the nose with a good sigh out through your mouth. Just letting yourself arrive, mind and body, on the mat. So often we step onto our yoga mat, but the brain's still somewhere else. So just bringing yourself into this space. Giving yourself this 75 minutes to move out of the thinking mind and into the feeling body. Just tuning into the sensations in your body. It may just be that feeling of the cool air on your skin, just softening into that. Feeling into any emotions you might be carrying with you today. Just dropping the label of what that emotion is, what it's attached to, and just feeling the sensations in the body. That lovely saying that emotions are just energy in motion. So just feeling into that energy. Being aware of any tension you might be holding. Any injuries you might be working with. And connecting to your natural breath. And introducing your Ujjayi breath. Just finding that soft sound. And keeping that connection to your Ujjayi, come to lying on your back and have your knees bent and your feet flat to the mat. And just taking the arms out to the side, shoulder height, with the palms facing upwards. Timing movement and breath as you exhale, lowering your knees over to the right side of the mat. Inhaling up to the center, exhaling over to the left. Inhaling, coming up. Exhale to the right. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the left. Just keep moving with your breath. And then coming up to the center, hug your knees in towards your chest, just curling up into a tight little ball, to a gentle rock from side to side. And then straightening your spine, so bringing your head back to the mat. We're going to keep the legs lifted so that the knees are 90 degrees, shins parallel to the floor. Arms over the head to make it harder, down by your side to make it easier as we come into our lovely little toe taps. So single toe taps to start with. On the exhale, pushing the right knee forwards till the right toe taps to the floor. Inhaling, slowly lift. Exhaling the left toe down. Inhaling up. Good. Keep moving with your breath. So the knee stays at a 90-degree bend. The movement comes from pushing the knee forward in the hip. Gently pulling the tummy button back towards the spine, so there's no movement through the spine. So Lynn, bring both your knees forwards. Bring both knees forwards more, away from you, away from your chest. Other way, yes, there. Don't let them come back any further than that. So we're constantly keeping the core muscles engaged. And then moving straight into double toe taps. So both toes at once. Slowing down that movement. Take the length of the exhale to lower and tap. The length of the inhale to lift. Feel, pull the tummy muscles back towards the spine. So Nikki, don't bring your knees back quite as far when you come up. Just stop there. Yeah. Two more. And then coming back to that neutral position that we're starting with the shins parallel to the floor. Take the arms out to the side, shoulder height. So bringing the legs together, knees and feet together. We're going to come into twists. So on the exhale, you're going to twist your knees over towards the right elbow. And as you inhale, come back up. Exhaling, twist over towards the left elbow. Tuck into a tight ball as you twist. Inhaling up. Keep moving with your breath. Again, controlled movements. Take the length of the exhale to lower, length of the inhale to lift. So rather than just creating a nice pendulum effect, using that momentum, we're actually using the muscles to control the movement. If anybody wants to do the last few with straight legs, you can. You can straighten the legs and flex the feet. Make it a little bit harder. See if you can take the feet to the hand. Good. One more on each side. When you're finished, hug your knees in towards your chest and relax. Yeah, then bring your hands onto the backs of your thighs and rock yourself up to sitting. Keeping the legs out in front, sitting up nice and tall, balancing onto the sitting bones. Good. So here, notice if you can feel it gripping through the hip flexors, pull up through the pelvic floor. So start to engage through the bandhas. Bring the arms out in front, palms facing up. Pull the head of the arm bones back in towards the shoulders, and then lean back, straight spine until you feel the tummy muscles really kick in. You can stay here if you want, otherwise you can lift so the shins are parallel to the floor. If you want to, you can straighten the legs. And breathe and smile. I'm just doing that with my feet because I've got a cramp appearing in my hip. I've been dancing all day. I've done that, not this. Nice deep breath in and exhale to release. So coming back into boat pose, whichever variation you were in, we're going to go from here back into Ardha Navasana. We've all done this before, haven't we? Everybody knows what fun we're going to have. We've done this, Nikki? So we're going to go lower part, halfway down, and then come up. It's awesome, isn't it? Taking a nice deep breath in and exhale to lower. Inhaling up. Exhale to lower. Inhaling up. Exhale to lower. Inhaling up. Exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, smile, 1, and relax. So coming onto all fours, moving straight into your cat-cow. Good, and circling the hips. Good, and changing the direction of the circles. Coming back into a neutral position, walking the hands forward at hand's length, tuck your toes and stretch back to your downward dog. So wiggle around in the posture for a moment. Get into your body. Feel into the hands. We can be in downward dog, so worried about getting our heels to the mat, we forget what's going on with the hands. Spread the fingers, feel down. Where do you feel it most in your hands? Is there a point? Do you roll towards the outside edge or more towards the wrist or the inside edge? See if you can adjust and bring that equally. So you're using the whole hand. Finding that little suction cup of Hasta Bandha in the center of the palm. Then rise up high onto your tiptoes. Tiptoe your feet towards your hands as if you were going to come into a handstand. So keeping the weight down into the hands. See if you can lift those heels a little bit higher. Put some weight into the hands. Use your core to lift you. Take a nice breath in and exhale, lower the heels down to the mat. Bring your hands onto the backs of your hips and inhale up to standing. Arms down by your side into Tadasana. Good. Inhaling, floating your arms up. Exhale, forward fold to Uttanasana. Inhaling to your flat back. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhaling, oh no, hold it there. Sorry, I was focusing on trying to stop the draft coming through the door for a moment. Good. Relax the neck. And on your inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to the heart center. Inhaling, taking the arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog and come back to your breath. Inhaling, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Inhaling, come up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Inhaling, taking the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling to your flat back. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to downward dog. On your inhale, come forwards into your flat back. So finding a little bit more length. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga, or knees, chest and chin. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog and coming back to your breath. So really staying present with every part of the flow. So we really allow the body, the muscles, time to catch up. When we go quickly, we use sort of the main muscle groups kick in. But when we slow it down, we start to really tune into those finer points, allowing those smaller muscle groups to kind of join in and support. We become present. Inhaling, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to the heart center. Inhaling, taking the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. So take the length of the exhale, really lengthen and fold. Inhale, lengthen and look forwards. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga. See if you can slow this down. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog and come back to your breath. On your inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhale, fold down to Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart center. And inhaling, floating your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, step back to plank and hold. Spread the toes, spread the fingers. So Hasta Bandha and Pada Bandha, pushing back through the feet, pushing down through the hands. Bring your hands back to about here. Yeah. So the shoulders are over the wrists. Yeah, makes it a little bit easier. Engaging through the core. If anybody does want to make plank much harder, walk your hands forward about 2 hand lengths and try and hold it. If you can take the feet back, Rachel, go even further. See what happens. Yeah. Can you feel the difference? Okay, stay with it. You can walk the hands out and in is a practice if you want. Yeah. You're losing him out. You do it with rollers. You do it with rollers. You go all the way out and hold and then pull all the way back in. Yeah, it's hard. Keep breathing. Good. So bringing the hands back under the shoulders if you walk them forwards. On the exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog and come back to your breath. On your inhale, come forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, bring the hands to the heart center. Inhaling, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, back to your downward dog. Inhaling, step the right foot forwards, left heel comes to the mat, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhaling, lower the hands down, step back, chaturanga, 3-legged if you want to. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhaling the left foot forwards, right heel comes to the mat, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhaling, lower the hands down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, back to downward dog and come back to your breath. On your inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhale, fold down to Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Inhale, come up to Utkatasana. Exhale, come to stand, hands to the heart center. We're doing one extra anyway. Inhale, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale the right foot forwards, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog. Inhale the left foot forwards, Virabhadrasana 1. Do your right leg, Rachel. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga is fine. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to downward dog. I actually Googled, after 13 years of teaching, I was like questioning why we do the right side first and then the left side. And I looked into it. Dan was here when we swapped it round. And the reason is that partly it's just an old tradition, but actually it kind of came from accessing the logical side of the brain first. So we're setting it up, and then the creative side of the brain second, using the left side. So little factoid for you. Inhaling, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. You'll be fine if you do it backwards. Bend your knees. Inhale, come up to Utkatasana. Exhale, come to stand, hands to the heart center. Inhaling, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale the right foot forwards, high lunge. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, Chaturanga, more back leg. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale back to your downward dog. Inhale the left foot forward. So feel that back leg as you come up to your high lunge. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to downward dog. You're having a creative day, Rachel.
I think I am. I keep running to my left.
Yeah, go with it. On your inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Bend your knees, inhale up to Utkatasana. Exhale, come to stand, hands to the heart center. Bringing the feet together. If you want to keep them hip distance, it's a bit harder. Inhaling, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to the heart center and twist to your right. So hooking that left elbow over the right knee. Beautifully aligned knees. Everybody. Good. Inhale, come back to the center, extend the arms forwards. Exhale, twist over to the left, keeping that alignment in the hips with the knees. So you connect to the midline, hugging the inner thighs together. Imagine that blocks there. Good. Inhaling, come back to center, extend the arms up. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog. Inhale, step the right foot forwards, coming into your high lunge or warrior one if you want to make it harder. Exhaling, fold halfway forwards, hands in front of the heart center and twist to the right. See if you can turn your gaze up towards the ceiling, keeping the back of the neck nice and long. Keep that connection to the back leg. Jenny, can you hook, when you're coming into hook the elbow, so you're coming that way and then you're turning up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhaling, come back to your high lunge. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale back to your downward dog. Inhaling the left foot forwards, high lunge. So on the exhale, fold halfway forwards, bring the hands in front of the heart center, and then you twist and hook the elbow, the right elbow over the left knee. See if you can turn the gaze up towards the ceiling. Stay connected to your core. Good. Inhaling, come back to the center, take the arms up. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale back to your downward dog and come back to your breath. On your inhale, step forwards, coming to your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Bend your knees, inhale up to Utkatasana. Exhaling, come to stand, bring the hands to the heart center. Inhaling, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale and twist to the right. So now check the knees with the feet hip distance. Are they still okay? Take the right arm up towards the ceiling and see if you straighten the left arm, it might go down towards the floor, it might stick out in front of you a bit, but you keep the elbow hooked over the knee. So it's a deep twist and the arm might be sticking out towards that window wall, and that's fine. But use that bracing of the elbow against the knee to deepen the twist. That's what the hook is there for. So Sarah, do that left knee, you know. Inhaling, come back to the center, take the arms up. Exhale and twist. I'm just going to shout names randomly now because everybody knows. Check in with yourself. Take that left arm up towards the ceiling, the right hand down towards the mat. So Nikki, right hip back slightly. Yes. Good. Inhale, come back to the center, take the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog. Good. Inhale, step the right foot forwards, come into your high lunge or your warrior if you want to work deep into this. Exhaling, fold halfway forwards and twist to the right. Good. So straighten that right arm up towards the ceiling and the left arm down towards the floor. If you work into the bind here, if you do the reverse bind, then go for it. You've got no idea what I'm talking about, just ignore me because it's a whole other class. And it's hard. Yeah, inhaling slowly, come back to the center, take the arms up. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhale back to downward dog. Inhale the left foot forwards, high lunge or Virabhadrasana 1. Exhaling, fold halfway forwards and twist to the left. So taking the variation you did on the other side. And if you try and work into the bind, give it a go. Go down, bend your front knee a bit more. Get down. Yes. Inhaling, slowly come back up to your high lunge. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog and come back to your breath. So if you are feeling a bit wobbly this week, or if you're finding things that you normally find easy, not easy, this run up to Christmas week, everything goes nuts. And, you know, it tends to be, we tend to get a bit ungrounded, really. Routines go, things change, we're busy, busy, busy. You know, this is noticeable in our practice, so just be there with it. You might have other stuff going on as well. But on your inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. The joy of yoga is it's not a linear improvement practice. Exhale, folding down. Bend the knees on the inhale, come up to Utkatasana. Exhale, come to stand, hands to the heart center. So grab yourself a brick and have it at the top of the mat. You got one. Just having it at the top edge of your, at the front of the mat, where you're not going to headbutt it when you chaturanga, ideally. Although, if you're doing a perfectly done chaturanga, you should just miss it. So, you know, you really want to test yourself, give it a go. So coming to the top of the mat, you'd probably hit it with your nose. But on your inhale, sit back to Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, step back, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling back to your downward dog. Inhale the right foot forwards, high lunge. So do a high lunge this time. Good. And as you exhale, fold halfway forwards, take the arms to the side, and then transition into Virabhadrasana 3. So get a strong warrior. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, twist to the right. So bringing that left hand to the floor, right arm up towards the ceiling. Yes, use the block if you want to. Try and keep light with the block. It's such a fiddly posture. Good. So connect to your core as you inhale, step back into your high lunge. Exhaling, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhale back to your downward dog. Inhale the left foot forwards, high lunge. Exhaling, fold halfway forwards, take the arms to the side. So connect, think bandhas, lift the back leg. So use more back foot, Nikki, flex it. Active back foot. Find that long line energetically from the back foot to the crown of the head and from fingertip to fingertip. And then slowly, I'm going to throw your balance, but slowly twist from the rib cage around to the left. So taking that right hand to the floor and the left arm up to the ceiling. That back foot is like your anchor. I say this a lot. Use it. If anyone ever wants to practice this, you can do it practicing it with the back foot against the wall. Inhaling with control, step back to your high lunge. Exhale, lower the hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale back to your downward dog and come back to your breath. Relax the neck and the face. On your inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhaling, fold down to Uttanasana. Bend your knees, inhale up to Utkatasana. Exhaling, come to stand, bring the hands to the heart center. So grab your cork bricks, and we're going to work into this. Get you propped, Lynn. Some of you may want these under the heels. We're going to come down into Malasana, and I'm going to give you some options. So this depends on how open your hips are. Sarah, you're not going to like me for this at all. So I'm going to make it really hard. Just because you've got really open hips. But for those of us that don't naturally fall into these positions, there are options. You can do this with the feet on heels. Feet on heels? Yeah, it's like being on high heels. With the heels on blocks. And when you come down, you can lower down and you can have a nice little block there. And you can relax and you can chill out on your block, which is nice. If you've got ridiculously tight hips, you know, and if it's running. So this is a nice variation to come into that means that actually you can just work and bracing the elbows onto the insides of the thighs. If you're feeling knackered, this is a nice option to come into. You get a stretch. If you're really wanting to work deep into this, there's a point, and I want you to all be mindful of this when we come down, and I hope you can see this as well then. When we come down, there's this point that we come down to where we go, oh, I'm just going to stick my butt out and kind of sink down. Yeah? And we just sink. We're trying to avoid that point. So what we're going to try and do is activate the feet, lifting the toes so the inner arches lift. And as we come down, you come down and you lengthen down through the tailbone and you recognize that point where you just want to stick your butt out and you try and push down and then use the elbows to brace the thighs out. Does that make sense? Oh. Yeah. So whichever variation you're going to come into, use the blocks if you want to use the blocks. Take your feet wider, Rachel. So the heels are on the mat, the toes are off. Good. And then come down. How's that feel? Nice. So if you want to work, and if you want to, because that looks rather lovely, but if you want to work deeper into strengthening, stop yourself on your way down. Stop. Yeah. Use your banders to try and lift you out. Yeah.
I know, even with the warrior 3, that I do like my hip kind of thing.
Drops. Yeah, because you're really opening the hips. Hyper flexible people, yoga's so much harder because you don't have the joints that they're just like, yeah. It's much harder. It's totally different yoga cues to teach someone with hyperflexibility. Nikki, you look really comfy. You can stay there for a bit. How's that feeling? Yeah. It's nice. Good. Last couple of breaths. And then we're going to come up to standing. One way or another. My idea is to turn the toes forwards and slowly bring yourself up. Is generally the safest way of coming out of this. Yay! We're now going to work into, how was that? Gets into places, doesn't it? Yeah. We're going to work into a bind. We did this before. Don't cry, Dan. It's fine. That poor old Dan ended up having a one-to-one with me last week. He got put through the mill. Yeah, it was fun though. We did fun stuff. Yeah, because the morning class, he was the only person that showed up, and it was like, okay, we're in this now. It's fine. So what we're going to do is come back down into Malasana. Find the variation that you're most comfortable with. Yeah. So the toes are turned out. Make sure that your toes aren't turned out so far that the strain going into the knees. Good. Inhaling, taking the arms up. And as you exhale, sit down. So slowly notice the minute your butt wants to stick out, see if you can connect to Mula Bandha and pull up. Good. And then you're going to take the right arm down to the floor and take the left arm up towards the ceiling. Might be enough to stay here, or you can come into the bind where you wrap that right arm around the outside. So take it round the front. Yeah. Yeah. Turn the gaze up towards the ceiling. See if you can bring the hips back into the center in that bind. Release. It's great after you've been to the gym. And come on to the other side. So taking the left hand down, right arm up. When did you go? Didn't she? Yeah, that's quite a lot. So binding if you did on the other side. Sorry, the tortury bit's going to stop soon. Kind of. And then slowly releasing. Put the weight to your hands, step the feet back and come onto all fours. Do a little cat-cow, wiggle the hips. We're coming into that, Sarah, don't worry. Who has a strong headstand? Just flashbacking to last Monday. Yeah? Dan, have you practiced at all?
Briefly.
Have you? So we were having fun last Monday with transitions. Lynn, I don't know if you've done this one. Transitions from crow pose into headstand. So if anybody has got a practice that they're confident going into a tripod headstand, you're welcome to try it. My advice is put a block. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah? Anybody else want to try it? Wow, the blank expressions and the lack of eye contact. I particularly like that bit. Everyone's like this. So if you don't want to do it, crow pose, just simple crow. But if you want to transition into headstand, the block just is to catch that tipping point. It's quite nice. If you don't want it, don't use it. But Danny, you giving it a go? Do you want a block? This is fun. It's fun stuff. So Lynn, have you ever done this? No? Are you going to try? No? Oh, her head's like this. That's a clear no. So otherwise we're going to come into, and again, you can use blocks for this. So if crow pose is something that you're not sure about, you can have your feet up on blocks because it gives you, when you come down, it gives you a sort of starting point. It makes it a little bit easier to just get the knees up. And you can just play around here, putting the weight into the hands, lift one toe, lift the other toe, dance between the two, and then lift both. So just play, yeah? And if you are coming into headstand from crow, boom, you know where you're going.
Are your hands flat on the mat?
Yeah. Hands are flat. If you've got dodgy wrists, you can also do baby crow. So nice. So hands flat to the mat. You tuck your knees up here, higher up, and you make almost onto that back bit of the tricep, and it might feel a bit bruisey, but which is fine. And then you bring the weight forwards, so you're kind of creating that ledge on the bent arms, and then practice lifting one toe and then the other. How you getting on, Dan? Yeah. So just try one toe, then try the other toe. Yeah. You'll find a sweet spot. Yeah. So see if you can come out of it, Sarah. Back into crow. It's a bit harder. Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice transition. No, it's lovely. No, but that, you know, that's life, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time you even tried to do that? So try tucking your head a bit more down, get onto the top part of your head. Trust, just trust a little bit. Yes. So when you're in crow, you want to try and get the toes touching. Slowly, just doing that last bit. If you want to hold it for a little bit, if you've had enough, we stop. Just take yourself back into a child's pose for a moment when you're ready. It hurts the backs of your arms. Yeah, I used to. It's fine. Body gets used to it after a while. Okay, so then slowly coming up to kneeling. So coming up onto the shins, knees, tuck the toes under. Hands to the backs of the hips. So we've done this quite a lot. So either do what I'm doing, or if you've got a variation that you're working on with the arms, then by all means, bring the arms into it. So hands are onto the backs of the hips, just to help to lengthen the tailbone down. As you inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the gaze just to the front corner of the room. Keep the gaze on that corner, and then slowly walk the hands down the backs of the legs. See if you can reach the crease of the knees. Once you've got the crease of the knees, take the hands back towards the heels. If you need to lean the hips back a little bit to get there, that's fine. Good. Now take the arms back. Take the hands back, the heels are here. Yeah. So now work on here, this, pushing the chest forwards. So if you push the chest forwards and up, the hips will come forwards without jarring into the lower back. If you just push the hips forwards, you can end up jarring into the lower back. Good. Now lift the chest, Sarah. Take just the head of the arm bones back. Lift chest more. Yes. And then slowly coming up. Sit back to your heels. Take a breather, spine nice and long. Yeah, that one, when you're taking the arms up, again, what we tend to do is drop because you've lost that push. So this is where you need to use the back muscles, and it's focusing on here and lifting it up, and then the arms moving independently, just taking the head of the arm bones back, and that activates that, which pushes that forward. If you get into that, it's quite a nice little, it's like a lever. As you pull the arms back, you lever the chest up, and it works quite nicely as a little thing. Let's do it again, whichever variation you may be going into. Back's feeling okay? Good. So if you want to try going deeper, untuck the toes. If you want to stay where you were, keep the toes tucked. Hands to the backs of the hips. Roll the shoulders back. Gaze to the front corner of the room. And then slowly work your way back to your heels. So think working into the upper back more. The lower back will bend in that direction naturally. It's the upper back that needs the work. Then, if you've got the heels comfortably, you can lift your gaze towards the ceiling. Play around. If you find it's tiring on the neck, do little chin to chest and take the head back and forwards. Play around with strengthening the neck muscles. So we're not just hanging in them. That gets all the supporting neck muscles working. If you want to take the arms back, you can take them back. So find that little lever again. Yeah. Good. So now lever the arms back, Rachel, lift the chest more. No, 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 take them where they were, but lift the chest, open heart, think open heart. Good, and slowly coming up, breathe down. Exhale, sit back to the heels. Did you feel the difference, Sarah?
Yeah.
You went up by about that much. You just went. Yeah, you do. Yeah. And some teachers do give that cue, pretend someone's pulling from the heart. You're being pulled up. We all have funny little cues that we use. I've got little angel hands on the back that I tend to use. So making your way into your downward dog. So any dodgy knees, you're going to come to lying on your back and do a lying down pigeon. Otherwise, we're going to bring the right leg forwards and come into pigeon pose. So whichever variation you want to do, you can come down onto the elbows. See how this is collapsing? Yes. Now bring this knee out to the side. Yes. Now take this leg back. Wow, welcome to your hips. There you go. So you're keeping that in the midline. That's where you want to be. Taking the arms up if you want to. Not forcing you, but it's an option. And if you're down on the elbows or with the arms out in front, then really breathe the length of your spine. Really focus on expanding the whole back of the body, softening as you exhale. If your arms are up in the air, then focus on lengthening with the inhale, lifting. Yeah. Try and get that right arm straight. I know it's your tight one. If you want to, you can try bending the back knee and taking hold of the back foot. Take hold of it with both hands. Yeah. And then you can play around with that. Yes. Nice. Oh yeah, that one with the arms up hard. It's good, but it's hard. But they're all, yeah, they're all really good variations to do, but nice to play. And it's nice to have options as well. So normally when I say let's go into pigeon, everyone sleeps.
Really nice.
It's so lovely. So slowly coming back up onto your hands. Tuck the back toe. Lift up the back knee. Step back to your downward dog. Take a moment and just feel. Good. And then bringing the left foot forwards. So wiggle your way into the variation that you want to work with on this side. So again, if the arms are stretched forwards, then really working on expanding the back body, softening as you exhale, using gravity, using that exhale to help you deepen down. And then slowly coming up, hands to the mat, tuck the back toe, step back into your downward dog. So lowering down to the knees, or jump through if you want to do a jump through or step through. Bring the legs out in front. However active you may be feeling. So coming into Dandasana, our soft pose. So here we want that long spine. If it feels at all like you're rolling back in the hips, put a little bend into the knees and really find that extra bit of length through the spine. Inhaling, take the arms up. And as you exhale, fold forwards. So just breathing wherever you land, breathe into it. Now see if you can bring your feet a bit closer together. It can be apart, but just a little bit closer, yeah. And then slowly coming up to sitting, taking the legs wide. Again, same thing. If it feels like you're rocking back slightly, put a little bend into the knees and come right onto the top of the sitting bones. If you're on the back of the sitting bones and almost onto the tailbone, coming forwards is 10 times harder. So a little bend into the knees helps. Inhale, taking the arms up, so lengthen, waist up out of the hips, and exhale to fold. You can just bring the hands to rest. That was my hip. But as you inhale, look forwards. So push the tops of the thighs down, lift the waist up out of the hips, and on the exhale, fold again. Breathe your way into the posture. Inhale, push down, lengthen, look forwards, exhale, fold. Just find a space that you're happy relaxing in and breathing into. If anyone's happy relaxing in this. I've definitely found the comfort in the discomfort, but happy is not for sure I'm there yet. Keeping the feet flexed back, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then slowly come back up to sitting, bring the legs together. Come to lying on your back and have your knees bent and your feet flat to the mat. So arms out to the side, shoulder height with the palms up. Lift up the hips and move them over to the left side of the mat. Straighten the right leg. Place the left foot onto the right thigh. And then on your exhale, twist over to the right and use that right hand to guide the left knee down towards the floor. You can turn your gaze over towards the left hand. If you want to go a bit deeper and it feels a bit stuck, just shift that right hip back underneath you. So just helping that twist. And then slowly coming back up to the center. So knees bent. Move the hips over to the right side of the mat. Straighten the left leg. Right foot onto the left thigh. And then twist over to the left. Take a moment to come into this. If you've been in a deep twist on the other side, just take a few breaths to come into the deeper variation on this side. Talking about how your hips and your hips really let, when we're talking about how you can drop into your hip, when you do these postures, this is an interesting way of comparing your body in a twist. So if you think of it, if you were coming into a deep twist, because at the moment your spine is in the perfect alignment, right? And the hips are, because they can't move. So if you were coming into that reverse bind, for instance, that arm, that leg would need to be right down on the floor and further in order to get into the bind without the hips releasing. So you become aware of the fact that then when you're in this twist, you need to pull that down a little bit further, or it's just nice ways to compare the body in the same position but at a different angle. Yeah, and with the alignment there in different positions, it's a nice way to deepen practice, really. Yeah, exactly. It'd slowly come back up to the center. Bring the hips back to the middle of the mat. And then extend down, either coming into Shavasana, or if you want to come up to sitting for meditation for a few minutes, then you can. Bringing focus back to your body. Your fingers and toes a wiggle. Gently hug your knees in towards your chest. And do a little rock from side to side. Roll over onto your right side and come up to sitting. Bring your hands in front of your heart center into prayer. We'll close chanting 3 Oms together. So let's take a breath in for Om. Gently bowing your head.